I'm the Commissar. We're watching Forged Alliance Forever, and you might think you know what game enders do. You might think they end the game. Will you still think that after today's epic battle? Let's find out. By now, my loyal viewers, you know the drill. That lot is North Team. That lot is South Team. Now, here on the flank position for North Team, quite some distance away from the rest of his friends, is Legendor 2. Not Legendor, Legendor, I know. I comment on this every time we see him. But so it is. I'm going to call him Legend today because that's easier. He is 1536 rated in Cybran, he's in Mucus Brown. And a long way away, this is his ally, whom I would expect to be the air player. This is NoRedforu. He is 1547 rated, and he is Seraphim in yellow. And apparently he's not going to be the air player. Angels is volunteering to do that. Speaking of which, this is Angels. He's Eon. He's in grey. And he is 1980 rated. And the third player in this little cluster here at the back for North Team, this is Porkerstein. We're going to call him Porkers. Sounds a bit public school, doesn't it? The sort of person who gets killed early in Lord of the Flies. Anyway, he's 1196 rated. He is Cyan and he is Cybran. And in the forwardy flanky position for the North Team, this is ObliiLaCybrance, who is 1986 rated, the team's highest rated player. He's baby blue and he is UEF. And that is the North Team. Now let's go and meet the South Team. On their flank, playing as the Eon, we have Knabberwasser, who is 1631 rated. He's in Burgundy. Moving along to their back player, will he be their air player? I imagine so. This is PuckJunior, 1567 rated and Seraphim. He's in purple. In front of him, behind the rock, we have Xayo, the game's highest rated player at 2005. He's Eon in fecal brown. Here's the base, but where's the com? He's a million miles away on the distant horizon there. This is StrixInquisitor. We're going to call him Strix. He's 1372 rated. He is UEF in bright red. And last but by no means least, building an awful lot of power there to be able to handle the heaps of reclaim, which we're going to look at in a moment. This is Katawunga, who is 1632 rated. He's also UEF in orange. And the map. So there's a bit of hills in the middle here, and a lot of expansions to fight over. 1, 2, 3 quad mechs expansions per team, and then this huge mass of mechs the players can advance to. But holy cow, look at the reclaim. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of it scattered all across the map. You can see it's these piles of rocks here. And they are going to allow the teams to get off to quite an early start. Speaking of which, here's an NG drop, but it's not going for the reclaim, it's going for this expansion out from NoRedforu. Angels has also dropped. He's been a little more cautious, just bringing his NGs out to claim this hydro quite quickly. And here comes another load, which is coming out to this quad mechs in the middle. And the same from Porkers, who's going for this expansion, so much more early aggressive work in terms of NG drops from the North Team. We've got this coming out from Xayo, but he's just trying to get these areas much closer to his base. Am I overusing the drawing tool? Tell me in the comments below. So early on, we've got North Team grabbing both these expansions and matching South Team in this expansion, but they haven't had a chance to fully develop it yet, so the ecos are still very level. What about these corner expansions? We haven't seen much going for them yet. Well, now we have. Legend is sending out a drop, which I bet is going to land there, and it is. And we can see on the minimap that Knabber is doing presumably the same thing for that expansion. A little bit of shooty as some units engage, but where are we going to see the first real combat? Well, Kata is already heading up for NoRed's expansion right here. He's got his comm and he's just walking right in there. This NG is going to be in for an unpleasant surprise when it runs into these units. Do they know about it? They do. They know there's a point defense there as well. So Kata would do well to call off this NG from its build order. However, this is quite nice. He's actually going for a run-by rather than just going to take on this base. This would just die. The arty could do with coming in and hitting that point defense, especially as Kata is not wearing any upgrades on his comm yet. Still balls out naked, flapping it around there, flapping around his Zephyrabfar or whatever it's called. But his run-by is sneaks back as NoRed responds. A few units have gone passing on up here, but Legend has his eye on those. However, Kata's comm is going to be what we've got to watch, as he just walks in to straight up try and evict NoRed from the expansion. And he's taken out the point defense. He's shooting up the tanks. He's bringing in decent amounts of spam to support. He might be able to achieve it, because although NoRed dropped this, his comm is a long way away. That said, Legend is coming in to help, but he's stopping to build a mechs on the way. More point defense is going up for NoRed, and they are going to do their work. But Kata's damaged, but I think that he's going to be able to do the business. That second point defense is being focused down. It's going to die. Legend is bringing in his spam as well, but so is Kata. And Kata's taking quite a lot of damage. I wouldn't feel comfortable about this with this amount of enemy spam nearby, especially with Legend's comm, which is being pung. Does Kata know about it? No, he doesn't. So this could be a risk for Kata if he doesn't realise that this comm is coming in. We are going to keep an eye on this, but as we do, and we can see NoRed moving his comm in as well, let's have a quick look down here. Because down here, Porkers is trying to get some work done. He's picked up a number of the NGs that Knabber had in this reclaim, and he's denying these mexes. But he's given an order in here. Does he know? He absolutely knows what Knabber has here, and I think it would be a mistake for him to push in here. He might not know about this point defense, but there's a lot of production here. He's going to lose a lot if he pushes in, but he's choosing to anyway. And I do not like that in the least. We've also got T2 here now for Knabber, and that will easily clear up this little shenanigan here from Porkers. Meanwhile, we have a trickle of blazes coming through the middle from Angels, which is extremely cheeky. And it's been noticed, you can see from these pings. But this lot here might go down. These blazes are not going to be super well defended. And how these blazes, these mexes, and he might get a decent amount of damage done down here if nobody responds. There's a point defense going up, which will stop the blaze if the blaze draws near to it, but this might be a little too late for Xayo as the blazes move in. But they're now going to move into this point defense, and that will be that. Meanwhile, Obli has a tactical missile launcher, and he is shooting it at Xayo's production. And this could actually get quite a lot done. He's got his gun, he's got T2, but the T2 means he can reload the tactical missile launcher pretty fast. This expansion here, not very well developed yet, but this is where we have to watch as Obli keeps firing. Is he trying to go for a snipe here on the comm? Boom! He hits Knabber with the comm in the face. That's got to hurt. And we'll come back and check on it later, but we have to move all the way back up here because now we have a big comm fight, including Tech 2 support from Legend, and Knabber has still only got his T1 spam, whereas both Legend and these T1 bombers coming in from Legend, they're going to do it, aren't they? They're going to make the difference, because Katawunga is still naked, and now he's into the red, and the bombers are in a position to swarm him. Legend's just keeping out of the way, and to be honest, no red. Well, he is red, he is absolutely in the red, but he's keeping back, and I think Kata could have moved in to try and get the draw, but this is not going to be enough. He's not going to be able to escape from this swarm of T1 bombers. Is he? No, surely not. Boom! Katawunga is our first ejection at just under 11 minutes. And Strix inherits. He's not the highest rated. I wonder what the inheritance rules are in this setting. Anyway, back I think to Obli, who has got some work done by the look of things. We can see that tactical missile still firing. Where's he firing towards? Is he going for T2 mexes back here? Because he must have some pretty decent range on that thing. This mex? Nice, he takes it. But he is falling back. But he gets off a couple more shots. There's a lot of undefended mexes here that he could absolutely do huge damage to if he wanted. This is also quite cheeky. If you T1 bombers raiding up here, they're going for the anti-air turret and they take it out. So these NGs, these mexes are probably all going to die. We do have T3 here from Xayo though. And we can see these tactical missiles, look at them. They are just picking things off. This is pretty painful. Xayo and Obli both moving their commanders leftwards now, but this base is being taken out in advance by the bombers as well as by the tactical missile launcher on this comm. Now Xayo has gun, Obli has gun and T2 on top of the missile launch. He's going for the snipe there, but he misses. And now there's some spam coming in to support both of them. Xayo is going to have to be careful. He's taken a lot of damage there, I think, and he might, if this hits, he is toast. But it doesn't, and he dodges. Quick check over here where we have a drop of Harbies from Knabber. It's been forced down. I think he was trying to get in here, but they're still now behind the defenses. They could absolutely get some damage done. Lots of undefended mexes, including T2 mexes that they can pick up. Meanwhile though, Obli is not stopping with this snipe business, and this could be really painful. Oh no, he only just misses. He does have to worry about this. There's a bunch of T3 here, but that T3 is going to be worried about this army coming down here, and indeed, Xayo is moving to the left there, while Obli advances on the comm, and the comm is only protected by a few shields. However, we have quite a big push here from Strix that might break past Legend. And it's just walking past no red space and getting into Legend stuff. Over here, Obli has pushed forward, but these T3 units are forcing him back from Xayo, so That might be enough. Xayo's comm still here, under shields, defended against the tactical missiles and those Harbies. Now, this army from Strix is still getting in and doing the dirty work, but Angels has sent a few of these blazes to help, but this is quite a big army with pillars at its core. Legend's going to have quite a problem stopping it. However, he's throwing up lines and lines of T2 point defenses over here. That might be enough to do the deed. Still, there's definitely going to be a couple of mexes lost down here. And that Harvey is still killing over these mexes. In he gets. These energy storage would be a nice pickup if he can get it. But I don't think that he can. And we got another push from Strix coming in against Angel's forward base. I think it's F's in the chat for that Harvey as it's being hit by strats. Poor Harvey, but it did so much work. MVP that Harvey. However, Angels is definitely in a position to defend his base right here, and he's got point defenses, he's got shields, he's got Harbies. This isn't really getting anywhere, and it's just leaving heaps and heaps of reclaim that Angels is absolutely able to be eating up when this is dead. With the Harbies even, because don't forget that unlike other T3 combat units, Harbies have a reclaim suite. Well, and a repair suite, but who uses it for repair? You always use Harbies for reclaim, right? Quick little overview of where we are. Well, this is where we are. We've got strats coming out from Angels. We saw one hitting the Harby, but these look like they're heading in for a raid somewhere. Air cover up front. Where are these strats going? They take the air fight for which Puck wasn't ready, but I think Puck might have enough to win it. And the strat drops a bomb. It's going to take out a mech, but that strat's down, and so is the others. That was most of his air and 2 strats for 1 T2 mechs. I do not think that was a good trade for poor old Angels. They have been taken out before they do any real damage. North team are a little bit ahead in eco by about 80 or 90, so that's a 10% eco lead. So not huge, but enough for me to take notice, enough for me to say that they're a little bit ahead. And don't forget that both of these corner expansions are in their hands, so that's definitely a slight map control and eco control advantage for them. A little bit of skirmishing over here, but nothing really important. That's a lot of Ilshis, but there's more than enough to stop them here from Strix. Puck tooling up for combat. Not sure he really needs to at this stage when there's this much T3 production on the field from Xayo, but you know, that is what he's doing. And Raz on the way for Angels, who's focusing more on his eco. Strix has the highest eco, but he's on 2 bases. Out of the players on just 1 base, Angels does have the highest eco at present. And also we're getting some air combat going down here. Sniper bots are being dropped forward, but the transports are taken out by Puck T3 Air. Sniper bots are a powerful unit, especially the Sera ones, which have more range than the Eon ones. And Legend also going for Nano. He wants to keep safe. No Red still boldly on the front line, but is that our first experimental? What is it? It's a fatty. A fat boy out from StrixInquisitor. And that is very good at doing things like breaking little forward bases like this. So he brings that up here. He shoots there. I think he'll be able to get a lot of work done. Gunships massing for Puck down here. But I've just been chattering for the last 2 minutes, and where's all the fighting, my loyal viewers? We want to see some actual battles go down. It's Supreme Commander, not Supreme stay at home and let Radar do all the work. The gunships go in to try and raid Porkers. Porkers has a few anti-air units in there, but I'm not actually seeing much in the way of flak, and... okay, now I am. I didn't... okay, that didn't really pay for itself, did it? Where's the actual flak in there? I'm not seeing it. It can't have been T1. Either way, it killed those, it killed those... Vothus, that's the word, T2 gunships. But this is a lot of Harbies coming forward from Knabber. And there are loyalists in here for Porkers. But I don't know how much those loyalists are going to do against this much in the way of T3 army. Obli sends in some T1 bombers as air support. But Porkers is losing his production and generally getting on the wrong side of things. Knabber falls back a little bit. How's that fatty coming on? Where? Oh, it's still back here, but we do have some bombardment already going down. The UEF gets spearheads, which are T3 mobile missile launchers, and they are a very underused unit in my opinion. If that goes up, I'll laugh so hard, it's not. Anyway, this big horde of spearheads, the whole point of spearheads is to be able to break through shielded emplacements, and this is exactly what they do best. However, Legend has this monkey cheekily sneaking around, and the monkey has stealth. I don't know if South Team are aware of that. They are not. They do not know that there's a monkey coming here, and these spearheads could be an expensive loss. The fatty will beat the monkey if it sees it, but if the monkey can just sneak up on it and blow it apart, then that will be a different story entirely. Ah, but now the monkey's been spotted, I think, by one of the scout planes, and these spearheads beat a frenzied retreat. However, they will need to keep a stream of scout planes heading this way in order for the fatty to be able to kite it. That said, the monkey knows it's been seen, and the monkey is falling back. Obli is coming in on the right with a few bricks. He's trying to get damage against Xayo from here and here. But actually there's a T2 point defense in the shield. There's not much else. 3 Harbies. This might be enough to take it. Actually, I think the shield will make the difference unless we see some air response. Like, where are those... these gunships here from Puck? They could defend against that. Easy peasy, especially as this anti-air is falling back. But they are not. Don't ask me why not. Up here, bricks from Legend trying a push against Strix, but Strix has a huge bunch of Percy's. I tried to say Percy and Ilshi at the same time. I meant Percy's in defense, and they're gonna drive him back. Meanwhile, the fatty has joined in the bombardment, and this base is cracking. But Xayo is getting smacked by Obli, as Obli pushes in here at the front and here. But the Vothus are here, and are we actually going to see the air fight go down as the Vothus retreat? We are. Who's going to win? It looks like it's going to go in Puck's favour, though he is fighting over flak and T3 anti-air from Porkers. And the gunships retreat, having seen off one set of bricks, but this set of bricks have just wiped out this expansion belonging to Xayo. So, you know, you win some and you lose some. Meanwhile, Strix's pressure in the north is paying off, and his Titans are sweeping in to follow up on the Spearhead's bombardment, but the monkey is coming back. However, the monkey has been seen. There is absolutely no way it gets close enough to this fatty to do anything of any use whatsoever, unless Strix is a complete noob and fails to follow this back. And indeed he is falling back, but the fatty now has a different threat. It is a bunch of spectres coming in from Angels, and Angels is gonna try and bombard it. and we'll have a look at Puck's gunships too, but meanwhile, the monkey is down, and so are all the gunships from Angels, and this fatty is free to just keep up its pressure. This base is completely dead. This base looks like it will be the next to fall. T2 Static Arty is an excellent defense against fatties, and Legend is making excellent use of it. The fatty will have to be very careful. It will have to get in there and do the damage, supported by its titans and spearheads. I think they've got enough to push in and do it, but they'll have to be very careful if Strix does not want to lose his fatty. The fatty has lost its shield at least to the arty, but it's not retreating, it's keeping the pressure up. Oh no, now it's retreating as it takes a few hits. Mobile shields moving in to cover it. This is always a good move, covering your fatty with mobile shields, but it is taking the hits. However, NoRed has to really be on the lookout. He is under severe bombardment here, and there's still these spearheads to worry about, as well as just the fatty. The fatty could just move in and pressure these just a little bit. I think there's enough if the spearheads help out, but he's not doing it just yet, and that is painful to watch. But while that's going on, Angels has a Galactic Colossus coming through the middle. There is a GC here also from Xayo, but if the GC does as that's... Who's that indicating? Is that... I don't know, it looks like Knabber's colour, but Knabber's on the other team. I think he may be warning it's coming through. This GC can come around here, just evading this GC, and do damage to Strix's base, but there's already another fatty here for Strix, helping it out. Still, that's also damage that this GC could get done on Strix. And this was the wrong move. This should have gone this way, I think. And now it's just going to be chasing this incessantly. However, look at this bombardment. It has indeed taken out all these T2 arties. And both NoRed and Legend are being forced even further back. They're going to lose all this. They might even lose their comms. Couple of restorers, not going to be enough. The GC plows its way deeper in, but I think there is enough risk of a comm kill here on one of these boys that we have to watch this pressure. Puck has got himself some Rambo upgrades and is having a little fun down there on the bottom side against, what are those things there? I've completely forgotten the name. What is the name of those things? I don't know. I'm going mad. Harbies. No. They're the things that are helping out. Anyway, look at this. This could be a comm kill right here. NoRed under real pressure. Is he going to get out of there? Meanwhile, this fatty is shooting at the GC. The GC is chasing it, but I think the kiting is going to be enough. And now the pressure on NoRed. I mean, he's got Nano and T3, but against the fatty... okay, he's killing the titans, but the fatty is going to make the difference, surely. The GC is actually getting up close to the fatty, but it's nearly dead. Titans swarming in behind it to help the fatty out. NoRed under fire here. Xayo getting Harbies into Oblii's front line, but he's defending with T1 bombers. I'm sorry, I'm trying to keep track of all these things at once, but this is the thing we've got to look at. Down goes the GC, and at the same time, boom, down goes NoRed, our next comm kill. And now we are back to it being 4v4, and what an insane engagement that was. Legend, meanwhile, creeping out here around the back as Strix swarms more fatties together, and he's going to bring them forward. That was some quite insane work. Xayo's Harbies still under bomber pressure, but they're getting work done, taking out Oblii's mexes here. However, this monkey might make all the difference from Porkers. It is coming in. Meanwhile, we haven't looked at Knabber for quite some time, but here he is. He's pushing forward on Porker's forward base. You remember he almost got it previously. Well, this is his next go at it with another round of Harbies, and this time it definitely feels, to me, like it's going to be enough. Now, you might remember at the start of the game how I was commenting how North Team had got both corners in their dirty little grasp. Well, now both this corner and this corner have been taken over by South Team. They haven't been built on yet, but they've been taken over. And indeed, the ecos are level as a result. Monkey did indeed finish off those Harbies. Now, Angels did manage to win air earlier, and what's he going to do with it? Well, this is what he's going to do with it. He's got a Tsar. Not sure where he's going with it. These two GCs might be a valid target. So Strix's Fatties and Bank of Spearheads still up and running, and Legend is just being forced further and further back. He lost this, then he lost this, and now he's losing this. I mean, how's he supposed to stop this? He's trying to put up T2 static arty again. He's also got some here. What the hell is that shooting? Oh, a landed scout. But, yeah. Meanwhile, where's that Tsar going? It hasn't really attacked anyone yet. Knabber's force is now spearheaded by a galactic colossus and is walking forward, is walking through Porker's expansion, restricting Porker's back to his old base. But Obli has a fatty. Porker still has these two monkeys which can support it. This GC doesn't feel like it's going to get very far unless Knabber supports it with this whole lot, and he's not. For some reason, the army is falling back, while the GC advances into Fatifar on his own, and I hate it. Meanwhile, Angels has sent a GC and a chicken to help out against the fatty, and where did that washer come from? I see the shadow of an arse washer and our Wasser experimental bomber coming in, and it's going to go for the fat boy. The GC is completely unsupported, and indeed it just dies here, so I'm not going to worry about that. Boom! Look at the fatty support army just dying. Look at the fatty shear drop as the Wasser does the damage. This fatty, will it regenerate enough hits? The washer is coming back for another pass. And the explosion is about to boot. 200 hit points. The fatty just survived on 200 hit points. That is wild. Meanwhile, though, down here, the Tsar that we mentioned earlier from Angels, that's two fatties it's just going to eat for free. That's pretty painful for Strix and for South Team. And this hero fatty, which has done so much work, slowly recovering, or quickly recovering with its 5 vets, that is going to be a casualty to the Tsar. Kaboom! F's in the chat for that fatty. And this washer and this Tsar, they're just going to brutalize poor Strix. Horde of Titans being hit. Boom. This fatty looks like a powerful unit, but okay, there's swarms and swarms of anti-air coming in. But will it be enough to stop the Tsar? The Tsar thinks it might be, but the washer is coming in for the pass anyway, and how much of this anti-air is going to die to one pass from the washer? Oof, that feels painful, and the washer's only slightly scratched. Angel's air is advancing, and over here, Puck has got himself a washer of his own, which might just be able to support Knabber's advance. These 3 monkeys look like a particularly juicy target for it. The Tsar comes in for the next fatty as the Puck's washer attacks. But the Tsar's taking hits. It goes in over the fatty. It opens fire. Look at that over there. The Tsar goes down. Is it going to fall on the fatty and kill it that way? It's not even going to drop the shield. But this washer is continuing from... I've forgotten his name. Angels. Meanwhile, these fatties have been taking damage from Puck's washer. This looks like it's going quite deep. Is it going to survive far enough to get a bomb off? No, it's not. No, it's not. Over here, though, look at all the damage that's going down. This is pretty painful. Where even is the washer? I've lost sight of it. And this looks like a mistake here from, No, wait, that's Puck. That's what Angels. What am I talking about? Anyway, yes. Where were we? Well, I will tell you, we are watching FAF, and this is an intense game we're having trouble keeping up with. More GCs from Angels pushing in through the middle. They got a little way to walk, though. So let's see how Knabber's push is doing. There's a monkey over here from Obli distracting the GCs here, but the main problem that Knabber has to face is this vast war of fatties that Obli has brought to bear. Speaking of fatties, there's another one out from Strix, and it's trying to kite these multiple experimenters coming in from all directions from Angels. But now volatile gunships from Puck are coming in to help out, and that will probably be able to clean up the GCs before too much damage is done, as will that next washer that Puck is bringing to bear. So we've got to look over here. And Knabber is falling back. Xayo is falling back. They do not have what it takes to stop these fatties from Obli. And yeah, what have they got to fall back to? No static arty really? No, nothing. They need to find some sort of answer to this. Maybe the washer is the answer, but meanwhile, this washer has landed in front of a GC, but this GC is taking out the fatty. This is something that Puck needs to remedy as his anti-air goes in against what is going on here. However, Puck and Angels take the air fight. Who's going to win? I think Puck might have the slight advantage here. I might be lying. Maybe Angels is going to win. Hard to tell there, but there's still these three experimenters that are just going to town on Strix's front line. And there are only the volatiles of Puck to save them, and they are ploughing into these units. Angels does send his ASFs, and Puck is choosing not to respond with his own. And Angels has a sneaky washer coming in around the side for the Novax that Strix has just built. Well, maybe it's not going over the Novax. No, it's not. We'll have to look at the Novax in a second, which is over Angels' air grid. It's going for Puck's air grid, and this is going to be horrifically painful, I assure you. Boom! Puck has slightly split up his air grid, which, while not maximally efficient, does mean that he only loses a bit at a time, and he's got enough ASF that the washer goes down before we get another bomb off, but that was painful. Meanwhile, over here, a new fatty is up. The XPs are going to die, but look at all these dead mexes. At what cost? And speaking of the Novax, it is getting work done. Some of Angel's air grid has been killed, and it is doing the deed. Looking at the overview, North team are ahead in eco, and I can't help but feel that they're going to be ahead in map control when that bunch of fatties continue to exert pressure, and there's still XPs from Angels trickling in, though I think you might need to mat up a few more before he can get any real traction here. These fatties are still pressuring the front line of Xayo, and he's got GCs, but GCs against this many fatties are not going to get anything done. He's putting up the banks and banks of T2RT that we talked about as a counter to fatties, but is there enough? Are there too many fatties from Obli to be able to deal with that? Meanwhile, we have a curious mix here of Rambo SCUs and T1 RT coming in from Legend onto Strix's front line. And normally I wouldn't consider that much of a threat at this stage, even with the Rambo SCUs, but after the damage that Strix took from Angel's XBs, this might get some sneaky damage done. Although the Rambo SCUs are falling back a bit, and there are now Percy's coming in, which will in time clear up the T1 arty, although Percy's are among the worst units per unit cost for dealing with T1. And the Nova Seas are continuing to go to town on the air grid, and they're also taking out this arty that Angels is trying to put up. That's going to be an expensive loss for Angels, and it goes down. Nice Novak's work from Strix. And that's now 5 fatties from Obli. This is mad. What can South Team do about this? Meanwhile, 3 Nova Seas, but I think that might be about to change, because this is Legends Com on a transport. What's he got? He's got Cloak, he's got Monkey Laser, and he's got Brass Spores right out. Okay, Mucus Brown Balls, whatever colour he is. Anyway, look at this, that's 2 Nova Seas down. The third is 200 hit points left. He must surely kill that. Come on, that's 1 shot, my dude. That's not even 1 shot from the Monkey Laser, that's 1 shot from your main gun. There it goes. The defense is T2 transport for some curious reason, but also a washer, which fails to get the drop. And Legend is just in here. The T2 transports aren't doing a great deal of work. This is Strix's HQ, and that's going to be a big loss. He's going to have to rebuild it, and I think that will hurt him quite a bit, although he might have an HQ somewhere over here he inherited from Kata. However, in comes the washer, and the bomb hits. Boom. All the T2 transports go down in the blast, but Legend is reduced to about 2/3 of his health. If he advances, he might be able to get the com kill on Strix, but he's not. He's going for the T3 power, and that is going to cost Strix, but Legend takes another direct hit from the washer and is reduced into the red. He won't be able to survive another of those, and there are now Ravages going up here. Strix doesn't want to cancel his upgrade, and I think it's going to be enough. It is! Boom! Legend is ejected, but what damage he did before he died. That was incredible, my dudes. That was incredible. Is that now 7 fatties from Obli? Yes, it is. 7 fatties with Porkers backing it up with a couple of monkeys. This expansion from Katawunga, Knabberwasser, the other K on that team, is not going to survive. However, washer defense from Puck, and this could be what he needs, because there is a bit of anti-air in there, but it's not enough to survive the blast radius of that bomb. And those fatties are gonna take some damage, and they need to. They needed to find a counter to Obi's attack for a long time, have South Team, and he's getting the bombs off. There are GCs in here as well, but they will just die to the fatties, and in comes Angels with his air, but Puck has more than enough to defend. Puck not only wins the air fight, but keeps the washer. And there's T3 arty up from Knabber here. We'll have a look at what that's firing at in a bit. These feel like a mistake, these 2 GCs. They're just going to die to the fatties, no questions asked. But the washer is still their best line of defense. And is it defending? I will assure you that is defending here. Look at this. Porkers also has T3 air, but that's not enough to threaten this. And there's a second washer. A second washer in from Puck, and it's getting the damage done. The fatties are being worked through one at a time as the washers drop their bombs. And suddenly, where there were 7 fatties, there's now 1. Amazing work defending from the air thanks to Puck there, and these monkeys are now not a problem. The washer and the Volthul gunships will clean them up. Meanwhile, up in the north, 2 fatties here against the Rambo comms left over from Legend. A lot of monkeys there from Angels coming down there, but these fatties ought to be enough to hold if he sees the monkeys. Does Strix see the monkeys? He does not, so that could be a problem if they come sneaking in from the side. Novak's out from Obli, shooting at Knabber, who's got a shield, but he ought to defend his comm. And Knabber is about to get his second arty up. What have we got arty-wise on this side? Well, we do have one emissary here for Angels, and he's working on another. And the arty war has well and truly begun, but this is a lot of Seraphim shielding, and I don't know if Knabber's going to be able to break through. This, however, is unshielded and could prove to be an amazingly delicious target for Angel's arty. Knabber shielding his arty. A monkey from Porker's toddling about here, and he's got a mega back here, but I don't know if there's enough really to make a push yet after the devastation wreaked on the fatties by the washers coming in from Puck, and now there are these two arties up from Angels, and they can do some real damage to the air grid if they just target it. However, we are seeing some shields being added now by Puck. Any more arty from Knabber? Not yet. He's still only got the two. As if I say only got the two. Two is quite a lot of arty. And the shields are desperately being added here by Puck in order to try and hold. I'm assuming that Angel's shields are holding against the bombardment. Several shields are pretty good. They're being heavily assisted. Yes, they absolutely are. How are these fatties doing? Well, they've got a lot of Percys in support. A lot. But not much anti-air. They could advance and do some damage here if they tried, I think. There's a couple of T2RTs, but not enough to make a real difference, in my opinion. However, Angels has a horde of experimenters here, 4 monkeys and a GC. And with the monkey stealth field, does Strix know about them? He doesn't. He could be 100% shocked if these just come out of, I would say left field, but no, that's actually from the right. Come out of right field, if you will. And smack up these fatties. Meanwhile, I see a Scathis not only under construction, but in the green. Angels is working on a Scathis up here. That's the first game ender we've seen in that 44 minutes. I'm not surprised. Now we are finally seeing such things. Anyway, in comes this sneaky force, and now he knows about it, but is it too late? He will absolutely need to kite those fatties as soon as possible. Percys are the best T3 units to use against XPs, and look how fast this monkey is shedding hit points. But oh no! Oh, now he notices. He stopped for a second there, but he notices and he is desperately driving away while using the Percys as cover. One monkey down. Two monkeys down, but the Percys are dying, and they're dying fast. More are coming in to help though. And this fatty's shield is dead. The GC is close enough to start sucking up Percys. 3 monkeys down. There's still a GC and a monkey, but the mobile shields are getting in to cover the fatty. However, the mobile shields don't hold up long against the GC's laser, and one of the fatties is down. The GC, however, is the next to die, and now it's 1 monkey worth versus 1 fatty, with the fatty running away and Percy's in support. My money's on the fatty, and the monkey is going down. So, nice ambush, but what a cost to Angels. It wasn't a good enough ambush. And the Scathis is finished and firing. What's it aiming for? I think it's aiming for the air grid, but this is now some pretty comprehensive shielding. Server shielding from Puck, and I don't think the Scathis is going to be able to get through that. And meanwhile, Puck has one of his washers going for Angel's air grid. It's supporting Strix's Novaks. He's rebuilt one of the Novaks after Legend's mighty drop. Will that washer get through? Or will it get through enough? One of the RTs is up and firing for injuries, one of them's down, but the RT from the south team is also targeting, and the shields are down. Can the Washer make it for another pass? This is good targeting from the Novaks, going for the P-Gens. And there's a second Novaks coming in. Nice arty hits, and the Washer is coming back. Will the shields pop up? Down goes the arty. Oh, the Washer's hit there for some reason. Okay, never mind. Angel's Air Grid has taken a significant amount of damage from that. However, Washer is now going on for a different target, but it hasn't got many hits left. Is that going down? It just bounces off the shields there. And yeah, I think this is going to die. Down it goes. It's going to fall on something, but nothing that's too costly. Meanwhile, Obli is dodging around as the Novaseas shoot at him. The Scathis fire. It is getting a bit of work done on Puck's air grid as the Novaks from Obli supports. Meanwhile though, Obli going here for a run by on Knabber as his comm tries to... What's going on up there? Ah, the Novaseas are going for the Scathis. We'll watch that in a bit, but look at this delicious run by. And the Scathis is firing a volley, but the Novaseas might be able to do the work. There isn't that much defense there. Knabber is out on his own against all this. Is Knabber going to die here? Knabber might actually die to a bunch of Perseus. He's retreating, he's dodging. And there's a GC from Xayo. Is it going to be in time to save the day for Knabber? GC and an awful lot of Harbies. Knabber is dodging, but he's into the red. The Perseus fire upon him. The GC opens up, but Knabber only has a few hundred hit points left. Is he? No, he's not! Boom! Wow, I was shouting more than I expected to there. But the last Scathis volley has broken through and taken out a big heap of Puck's air grid. There's so much to look at here. I'm barely able to keep track. Scathis didn't work for Angels? Well, Obli is working on a Mavor. I don't know if it's been noticed, we'll soon see. Maybe it has. The Novaseas are coming in that direction. Yeah, look, there's fire being targeted on it, and will Obli be able to get up enough shielding in order to protect it as the RT fire rains down on it, and as the Novaseas are being brought... okay, I thought the Novaseas were being brought in. They're not. They're stopping to try and take a pot shot at Obli's comm. But Obli's comm has a shield on it, and he's standing under another shield. So, I don't know if there's going to be enough there to do any significant damage. And now he's got much more shields up around the Mavor. I don't think that's going to die. In comes the Fatty from Obli. Now this is only one Fatty and a few Perseus, but what is there left to defend? Not much, I'll tell you that. The GC might be able to run it down, but not with this many Perseus around. There's a few Harbies to support. 2 GCs again maybe, but if Obli can kite with the Fatty, then this GC isn't going to get much work done. And it's almost dead. Okay, Obli can kite with the Fatty. Not that that should surprise me. But the shields are down on Angel's air grid. This is huge. However, we have both the GC and the Fatty are down here, so the push has been defended, but at what cost? And look at this, Angel's air grid is completely going up in smoke. We also have to note that Obli is in the yellow as the Novaseas target him. But while all that's going on, look at this. We have a huge bank of tactical missiles here, and it's trying to snipe Puck, but Puck I think has seen it with the Washer and is dodging. That would 100% have killed him had he stood still, but he did not stand still, and now this bank of missiles is known about. Yeah, look at that. That would have smashed through even his... That said, he's got double nano now, so 45,000 hit points. Maybe it wouldn't have worked. and the Washer drops the bomb. I don't think this immense tactical missile bank is going to survive. No, my friends, it does not. Up here, the Nova Seas are chasing Angels into the pond, and he was into the red. But he's in the pod now, but that doesn't mean that the Nova Seas aren't still here, and they are absolutely shredding. All that's left of Angel's air grid, and Puck must now have completely undisputed air control. Meanwhile, over here, Strix pushes in on what used to be Legend's base that another Scathis is started. But this Artie has something to say about it, I am sure. And if it doesn't, this fatty will. There's not enough to defend here. And this is mostly anti-air though. This GC might be able to do the work, and there are more T2 Arties going up over here. And Strix is again going with the fatty attack, but he isn't kiting away when he sees the GC. Does he know about the GC? He knows something that, okay, now he's kiting away. He doesn't know what it is, but he can probably guess. Quick check over here. Those Nova Seas are again on the comm hunt. Now they're going for Porkers. But the GC is coming in, and Strix is no longer kiting. He must be paying attention elsewhere, because the GC will be able to eat the fatty, and then the Perseus are just, you know, toast. And this is all anti-air, so Angels is able to defend up here and stop Strix's next push. Both Obli... Oh, that's a big loss for Porkers. Porkers does not have much left, and Obli takes a round of fire from the Nova Seas. There might be enough to beat through the shields here. And that Mavor is nearly finished. Well, I've been talking about that. Obli has nearly finished another Mavor, which of course he's shielding, and Angels is shielding like a madrad. But the shields are down over Obli and Porkers. And the Nova... Porkers might die here. Is it worth killing Porkers, to be honest, and just giving the extra eco to Obli? Well, guess Strix thinks so, because he does. Boom, Porkers is our next casualty at 52 minutes. And it's now down to 3v2, but both the players on the 2 side are 2000-ish rated. So, that's some interesting balance, and they do have quite a significant eco lead now, 500, 600 eco lead there, to which is 25% give or take. And let's watch the erection of the Mavor. It is going up, and it's about to start shooting off. We can see some South Team bases in the distance there, and this Mavor is going to have something to say about it. Boom. Now I think it's going for the Artie in Knabber's old base. The Novax from Obli is supporting it. Could do some good work here, could the Novax, or the Mavor, or against these 5 Nova Seas that Strix has, but I think it's going for this Artie first. And you can see those Mavor shells coming on in. Is Obli coordinating with Angels? I say that, but Angels has lost out here, and Obli's joined him in the pond. Boom! While I look over there, down goes this Artie. Suddenly, both pieces of Artie that Knabber built and Xayo inherited are dead. And that is not a nice feeling for South Team. The Mavor is going to be hard to kill. The Nova Seas are going for it, but there's so much shielding that I don't think they're going to be able to get much done. Obviously, all the Artie that South Team still has is focused on it, and the shield is down. The shield is down, and the Mavor is taking hits. Another round of fire from the Nova Seas, and that Mavor is surely toast. 1 Novax, 2 Novax, but they missed target. They missed target, and it's down. The Mavor is down to Novak's fire. That's after the Scathis. That's the second game ender that South team has killed. Legend thinks it's GG, and that was pretty painful as Puck sends his washes out to do the damage. But with the game ender down, however, they have lost a big bunch of arty, and also the last shots of it have just taken out the arty belonging to Xayo here. So a lot of arty they paid. 4 pieces of T3 arty dead, and the SND I think will also go down to the Novaks from all the arty. Where's the artifact coming from? Has Angels got some more up here? There's an emissary under construction. Oh, it's here, and she's got more. So much arty on the board, I barely believe it. But now, Obli's Novax is also dead as Strix's forces fire down from space to take out what they can of Obli's. It looks like he's just got... Ooh, either that was mispositioned or too much damage was already done, but he didn't get to reload it on the reckon, so he didn't get the huge discount for starting a unit on its own wreck, which would really help the Mavor production. However, the Nova Seas are now out and about picking off mexes, and this could hurt the economy for North Team, which is a bonus that South Team desperately needs to get. South Team do still need to capitalise on their eco, and I think that Strix could have built... He's reclaiming a lot. If we have a look at who's got the more reclaim, actually North Team are also ahead in that by 100,000. Total mass collected is 1 million ahead for North Team, and it shows. It shows. South Team have felt on the back foot for some time now, but look at this. We now have 6 Nova Seas up, and the 7th almost finished for Strix. The Nova Seas are heading up. I don't think that emissary is going to survive long. It's got 1 shield. But there are 5 Nova Seas coming for it. Oh, 6 Nova Seas even. Quite a lot is my point. Check back on it in a minute, but meanwhile, quite a big push heading forward from Xayo here. There is a Mega to defend, and from Angels, and Obli is about to finish this fatty. But this is a lot of GCs with a lot of shields and a lot of T3 in support, and if the fatty comes any closer, it's got a big bank of T2R to contend with. However, it is Xayo who is pushing in, not Obli, and so these guys can just kite back. He's going for the charge. However, there's another Mega here from Angels, and seeing all this fire coming in, plus these Ravages here from Obli, Xayo does not want to risk it, and he beats the retreat. Somehow, this 1 shield, being immensely assisted by Angels, has kept up in the face of the Novak bombardment. I didn't think it would, but it did. And meanwhile, the shields around the Nova Seas are falling due to the RT pressure from Angels. One of the Novaks has died. More shields are going up, but all the RT dotted around the map, here, and now here, that Angels is firing with, is going to do the work. This is so going on the Mavor for Obli though, despite his 1 and a bit thousand eco. Lots of washers massing here for Puck. Will they be able to do anything? And the shields go down around the Nova Seas. 4 of them are now exposed. Will any of the RT shells get through before the shields go back up? I think the correct thing to do would be to assist rather than to build a new one here, but Strix disagrees with me. However, the RT shells aren't landing yet. Well, here they come. Ooh, that took out a bunch of shields and lowered the rest, but Strix might be about to defend. Somehow Strix defends. Did not expect that. Meanwhile, 2 washers from Puck heading out here. Where are they going? I think they might be heading on an attack run out here to help out the Novaseas and take out this arty. They're going to have to be careful though, because this is a batshit amount of SAMs. And Angels takes the airfight and it's over his SAMs. This is going to be bad for Puck. Look at this. Sure, the bombs were away. I'm certain that's going to, if not kill the arty, then at least enable the Novaseas to do so. But that washer is down. Angels actually lost the airfight, but Puck's ASF are going to be shredded by the SAMs. Where's the washer going to go? Yeah, look at that. Puck's just lost all his ASF basically for free there. He won the airfight and then he just let them die. And this washer, it goes for one of the emplacements containing some arty, but it's not going to get another pass. It just falls out of the sky. Boom. Meanwhile, the bombardment has continued and some more Novaseas are dead. Only 4 now survive for Strix. And the bombardment continues. What have we got over here? Well, we have a slow creep coming forward as lines and lines of Ravagers go up. More fatties mass. This is an awful lot of T2RT. I don't know if there'll be enough for the fatties to push that. So at the moment, this area is a bit of a stalemate. But we have another Fatty and Percy push coming in from Strix, and there are 2 GCs here, but against this amount of firepower and correct kiting from Strix, these GCs are not going to do anything, are they? No, my friends, they are not. And we'll keep an eye on this, but I see on the mini-map that Puck has gone full Mazda with a teleporter, beamed into the pond where Angel sits, and is putting up torpedo launchers. Meanwhile, though, the fatties are being sideswiped by another GC from Angels, which might be close enough to sneak up on them and do the damage. T1 torpedo launchers being spammed out, and I don't think Angels has noticed. Well, now he's going to notice. The GC gets close in and opens up on the fatties. I think at least one of them's going down, but this is a huge horde of Percys. Angels hasn't noticed. He's just taking torpedo fire. Angels, my dude, you need to get out of the water. But okay, the GC goes down without even killing a fatty. Did not expect that. But over here, surely there's no way he gets out of this one. There is not, my loyal viewers. Boom! An hour into the game, and Obli is North Team. All on his own. ObliiLaCybrance indeed. And there are still 3 players on South Team. The Novaseas are going for this RT battery, which has been expanding a bit. And so is the RT. Is it going to be able to get through? Yes, it is! And suddenly that's 2 pieces of RT, so certainly 1, maybe 2, taken out from space by South Team. In fact, I think the shields have also gone down, so that one is soon for the chop. And Strix has diverted his army and is smashing it in here too. So this base is toast. There's a lot of GCs here, but they are wisely just retreating from this vast army of Percys and from this pair of fatties that are moving in. The damage is huge. Huh? Okay. I have to comment on this for a moment. There's a sad, lonely Colossus standing on the hill all by himself at the top, watching over this field of wreck and ruin. Poor old fellow. Lots of time to think about things when he's not getting orders. Anyway, Obli has finished his second Mabel. It's already taken some hits, possibly during the construction process, but it's up and firing, and the Novaseas are coming for it. That SMD will be a huge pick, but the shield goes up over it.
Strategic launch detected.
It would definitely be a huge pick, as we're seeing a nuke out from Xayo. Where is it going? He's actually got 2 nuke launches there. Okay, this is going to just clear up. That's a lot of fatties and Percys, which the nuke could clear up. I like that. That will clear away for a push here if he thinks he's got enough, and he should think he's got enough with that many GCs. And Obli hasn't realised where it's going and doesn't split, so this is going to be painful. Boom! How much damage was that? That was 130,000 mass killed by that nuke. And the Nova Seas are trying to get through, the RT's trying to get through, but the Mavor is just up and running, and it's taking out the middle of Xayo's base again. But he has now got his massive GCs pushing forward through the area cleared by the nuke, which is what I hoped he would do, which is pretty nice. Was he going for the comp snipe with the Mavor? I think he might have been. Anyway, here come the GCs charging forward, and now there's nothing really to stop them. Okay, that's a lie. There's nothing here to stop them, but that's a lot of Ravagers. And that's even more Ravagers. I've heard of static defense, but this is ridiculous. And I really am sorry about all the split screening, but there's just so much to keep track of here. Strix under attack from multiple experimenters here, and this Mega's getting awfully close to the fatties. And there's not many Percys left for poor Strix. Look at all the GCs they've killed though. However, here the Mavor is targeting the RT in Knabber's old base, and boom! Down it goes. The Mavor has broken through, and suddenly there's a lot less RT there for the South team. But he's repositioned. I think he might be going for Xayo now. However, while that's been going on, look where Puck has gone all the way up here with his telly. Has it been seen yet? That's a huge tactical missile bank. Come on. There's like a bunch of SCUs here and everything. But here's those Mavor shots coming in to try and get the snipe on Xayo. And the shield's down. I don't think Xayo's actually noticed. Okay, now he's seen. Now he's seen. Oh, Xayo takes the hit from the Mavor. Is he going to start dodging? Now he is. And the washer flies over, but it's not enough. Xayo is sniped out by the Mavor. Boom, that is painful. Meanwhile, the SCUs charge in on Puck. He has fired a huge wave of TMLs at the Mavor. Surely that won't be enough to get it, will it? There's a tactical missile defense is trying to shoot it down, but several of them get through, and they bounce off the shields. They've barely weakened the shields. It won't be enough. Back to Puck himself, who is desperately trying to beam out as he shoots up a bunch of SCUs with his very tough comm with all those vets, and I think he might have attack sniped one while we were looking at the Mavor, but out he beams. Meanwhile, you remember I said that was a lot of static defense? Holy cow, is that a lot of static defense? And a fat boy, but mainly the static defense. They're shredding these GCs. That was 11 GCs there. And Puck just tried to beam in on the Mavor, and he just died. Sorry I missed that, but that was a bit of a lame way to go after all that, and so now it is Strix who inherits this, and these stop moving in Ravager fire as Strix inherits them. He starts them again very soon, which is very creditable, but there's so much Ravagers here, I do not think that even 11 GCs is going to be able to break through. They're certainly trying, but they're failing. And with the game just being Strix versus Obli, the equals are actually remarkably even again, given everything that's just happened. Meanwhile, I'm hearing explosions over here. It's SCU's dying as the RT from Obli is targeting up here. Hitting the Novax would be good. I think he's just going for the same thing as he did on Xayo though. I think he's just going for the comm snipe, which especially now he's one-on-one, could be very powerful indeed. Still 3 GCs alive, but there's still these lines of Ravagers just firing into their backs. And they are not going to last. They're not even going to make it to the lines of sand. Strix is still getting work done with the fatties over here, but he might actually get some damage done in here. We'll have to see. Now the Nova Seas are going for the SMD, but it's shielded. It's pretty well shielded. I do not think they're going to break through in time. Now see, that's not going down, is it? And double nuke out from the 2 nuke launches here for Strix. I think he's going for the Novax. He's betting on the nuke defense being taken out on time, but I think that his bet will not pay off. That nuke defense is very much loaded, and even with his multiple Novaces, let's see, more shields are going up over here. That both those nukes are going to be shot down, no problems. Number 1. Number 2, pop. So, what is Strix's way to win here? How can he break through all of this? Because he tried smashing through here and just got smashed by lines of Ravagers. He tried smashing through here and he got countered by hordes of Percys, Fatties and Megas. What's Strix's game plan here? And he's lost some more eco in the process, Obli creeping back ahead. And now Obli isn't really targeting the Nova Seas. I think he might still be going for the comm snipe, in which case near the Nova Seas is not where Strix should be standing. And unsurprisingly, the Mavors are still just trying to go to town on things around this area, but they're just not going to get through. They could probably get more work done up here, taking out things like air grid, power, whatever. Because if you can take out enough power, then Obli loses his shield. That said, he's generating ridiculous amounts of power here. And you can see when Mavor shows are getting through. Xayo, say my name, says Obli. Well, he doesn't get Xayo, he gets me, which is even better, and I've said his name many times. ObliiLaCybrance. Oh, and look at that. One of the Nova Seas takes a hit. The Mavor might be targeting here now. Another one takes a hit. Without the Nova Seas, what has Strix got left? Surely this is it for Strix. And there's this push coming in through mid. The GCs are already in the front lines of Strix. 2 GCs are already in the front lines of Strix's base. And now only 2 Nova Seas remain. These GCs, how can he possibly stop them? And 1 Novax on its own, not going to kill the Mavor, not a chance. Dead chicken, dead Mega though. 2 dead chickens. But these 2 GCs are something that I can't see Strix's answer to. They're just walking in there. The next double nuke is off. Where's it going? It's just going for the Mavor Brigade. That's not getting through. This SMD still has 4 rounds in it. I wouldn't be surprised, though I can't immediately see it if Obli has built another one. He does not. If he had YOLO, this game would be going very differently. Meanwhile, though, the 2 GCs come stomping in, and the comm is right here. Strix is going to have to be very careful, and it may not be careful enough. And yeah, we just see that the nukes get shot down over there. Obli has an insane line of Percy production going on here. And SCUs, just regular Raza CUs, they're all that Strix has got to defend against these GCs. Well, that in the Tsar. The Tsar will do the damage, and I don't think Obli's got the air force to stop it. But will it do the damage in time? This GC is nearly dead. And sensibly it's the one that Strix targets first. This GC walks in closer. He's getting close. He's not in range of the comm yet, but there's a lot of hit points for that Tsar to work through. Will Strix survive? The artillery is taking his shields down. The GC is making sure the shields don't stay up. And the GC goes down. The GC goes down and somehow Strix survives it. Somehow Strix is not dead yet. But where's he gonna go? What can he possibly do? That line of Percy production is growing, and they're all massing up here. More shields to hide under is definitely wise. All of the beautiful line of novices is dead. The Tsar is going in for some damage, maybe. And the Mavo has taken out one of the nukes. The second one is being assisted, but I don't think that without any shielding backup it's going to survive long. Surely there's a shell coming in for that. Boom, yes there is. Down goes the nukes. And now what does he have? Well, that's what he had previously, and the answer didn't seem to be enough. Now it seems to be even less as more GCs are coming in. No, that's a fatty, not a GC, but Strix has his own fatty doing the work up here. Okay, he's also got a GC there. But his comm is back again in the focus of the RT, I think. And that's Corsairs. That is a huge, huge Corsair snipe heading in. I think it's going to go for the Mavor. How many Corsairs does Strix have right there? He has 80. 80 Corsairs. That is mad. 80 Corsairs and a Tsar. But look at the amount of... SAMs here. They're just not getting anywhere, are they? Nope, they're all going to die, but look at the shields have been broken. Strix takes a direct hit from the Mavor. He's only got a few thousand hit points left. One more RT hit's going to do it. Boom! Strix is sniped out by RT as his Corsairs die to the SAMs. And that is that. ObliiLaCybrance, North team, are the winners, and what an insane game that was. I'm quite tired. Let me tell you, that was an exhausting one to cast with so much going on all over the map, all the time. Tell me, do you think South Team had a way to win it? Did Strix overinvest in Novax a bit? Tell me in the comments below. While you're down there, don't forget to like, subscribe, and obey. I'm the Commissar. I will see you next time.